Your conscious mind has been lying to you. It has been lying to you your entire life. It is the polite, social mask you wear, the narrator that tells you sanitized stories about who you are. It's the voice that whispers you can't right at the moment of your victory. It's the unseen hand that slams the brakes on your ambition, filling your chest with a nameless dread. This conscious narrator is a puppet, and you have been mistaking it for the puppeteer. You've tried to fix the puppet. You read the books, listen to the podcasts, spent thousands on courses in therapy. You forced yourself into new habits, using willpower as a blunt instrument. And yet, the same self-defeating loops continue. The same anxiety returns. The same sabotage unfolds. Why? Because you have been trying to reprogram a decoy. All those methods are merely anesthetics. They are designed by a system that requires your obedience to polish the bars of your cage, to make you feel like you are making progress while the real saboteur remains untouched, hidden deep within your own mind, pulling strings you didn't even know existed. This saboteur is not a metaphor. It is a fragment of you, an operational ghost in your own machine. For years, I felt it whenever I had to speak in front of a group. I knew the material, I was prepared, but the moment all eyes were on me, something else took control. My throat would tighten, my heart would hammer against my ribs, the words would get stuck. It was a complete system failure, and my conscious mind, the puppet, was powerless to stop it. I was a prisoner in my own body. It wasn't until I stopped fighting what was on the surface and discovered a brutal, forbidden shortcut to the source that I finally understood. The ghost had a name. It had an origin. And it had been running my life from the shadows. Today, we are not talking about incremental changes or mindful affirmations. We are talking about a direct confrontation. A way to bypass the conscious mind, the gatekeeper that's been lying to you, and kick down the door to the control room where your life's real programming is stored. This is a method designed to expose the hidden memories and deep-seated beliefs that secretly dictate your reality. It is uncomfortable. It can be disorienting. But it is brutally effective because it forces you to come face to face with the raw, unedited truth of your own code. This method was never meant for the public. It carries an aura of forbidden knowledge for a reason. It doesn't just help you cope. It fundamentally reconfigures you. And a reconfigured person is an ungovernable person. This is why it was buried. This is why they don't want you to know it. Welcome to the silent order. The greatest conspiracy is the one that convinces you that you are free while you are living inside a psychological prison built before you could even think. The warden of this prison is a vast, hidden intelligence, your unconscious. The invisible architect of your reality. This submerged world holds every forgotten experience, every repressed memory, and every core belief that was hardwired into you as a child. It decides most of your reactions, emotions, and gut feelings before your conscious mind is even aware of them. That sudden wave of social anxiety, that inexplicable act of ruining a good relationship, that chronic procrastination on your most important goals, those are not character flaws. They are not glitches in your system. They are perfectly executed commands from a program you've never seen. They are signals from the deep. This is the fundamental reason most self-help fails. It is a colossal waste of time. You cannot fix a cracked foundation by repainting the walls. You cannot talk your way out of a program that doesn't operate on the frequency of language. The unconscious communicates in the brutal currency of symbols, feelings, and raw physical sensations. To get to it, you can't use logic or positive thinking. You have to use a key that fits its ancient, primal lock. The problem is, your conscious mind, the gatekeeper, will fight you every step of the way to keep that door locked. It is terrified of what's on the other side. Its entire identity is built upon the lie that it is in control. Confronting the architect would force it to admit it is nothing but a puppet. So it will generate doubt, distraction, and boredom to keep you from getting too close to the truth. So how do you get past this guard? You don't. You use a protocol that makes the guard irrelevant. A protocol that was whispered about in the fringes of deep trauma studies. A technique deemed too destabilizing for conventional practice. Not because it was harmful, but because it was too effective. It worked too quickly. It gave the individual direct access to their own source code, rendering them independent of the therapeutic system. We call it the Janus Protocol. It was named after the two-faced Roman god of doorways, transitions, and endings. Janus looks to the past and to the future simultaneously. This protocol is that doorway. It is a three-phase cognitive infiltration that forces you to look back at the origin of your programming so you can finally seize control of your future. It uses the body as a secret entrance to the soul. It is how you stop talking about the problem and start engaging directly with the source. This process is a deliberate descent into the basement of your own mind. It requires courage. Your objective is not to analyze, but to experience. Analysis for later. This is about raw, unfiltered contact with the ghost in your machine. To show you how, I will guide you through the protocol, using the case of a man we'll call Alex. On the surface, he was a success, but privately, he was paralyzed by a free-floating dread and an irrational inability to speak up in important meetings. He decided to initiate the protocol. This is how you do the same. Step 0. Mission briefing and secure location. This is not a casual meditation. This is an intelligence operation. Treat it with the seriousness it deserves. First, find a secure, private location where you will not be disturbed for at least 45 minutes. Lock the door. Second, silence all devices. No screens, no music, no distractions. This is a non-negotiable. Third, you will need a pen and a notebook. Not a phone or a computer. The physical act of writing is critical for this process. It slows down the conscious mind and engages the body in the act of retrieval. Fourth, sit upright in the chair, feet flat on the floor. Do not lie down. You are here to confront, not to relax. Finally, set a timer for 45 minutes. You do not get up until the timer rings. You are creating a sealed chamber for this work. Step 1. Locate the terminal. The infiltration begins in the body. The mind lies, fabricating stories and rationalizations. The body, however, is an honest machine. It keeps a perfect record. Repressed emotions and unprocessed trauma are not ethereal concepts. They are stored as physical realities: a knot in the shoulder, a tightness in the chest, a cold pit in the stomach. These are the hardwired terminals of the unconscious. Close your eyes. Let your awareness drop from the frantic chatter of your mind and into the physical sensations of your body. You are not trying to change anything. You are a detective, scanning a crime scene for clues. Begin a full body scan slowly. Move your focus from your toes up your legs, through your torso, down your arms, into your neck and head. Shift your perception from thinking to pure feeling. Where is the signal? Where is the distortion? It might be a familiar ache, a point of tension, a strange coldness or heat. Alex scanned his body. Then he found it. A familiar, cold, heavy tightness in his solar plexus. It felt like a block of ice lodged under his ribs. He'd felt it 1,000 times before, particularly before important meetings, but had always tried to ignore it, breathe through it, or rationalize it away. This time, he did the opposite. He had found the terminal. Step 2. Amplify the signal. Conventional wisdom tells you to release the tension, to breathe into it and let it go. We are not doing that. That is avoidance disguised as healing. You are here to listen to the signal, and you cannot listen to something you are actively trying to silence. Your task now is to amplify it. Fix your full awareness on the physical sensation you located. Do not try to release it. Do not judge it. Simply observe it, exploring its every detail. Its shape, its texture, its temperature, its weight. Now give it a command. In your mind, speak directly to the sensation. Say, I am here. I am listening. Show me. Give it permission to intensify. Ask it to grow louder. This act of courage sends a shockwave through your system. It tells the unconscious that you are no longer afraid, that you are ready to hear the transmission. As Alex focused on the icy block in his stomach, he leaned into it. He welcomed its coldness. And as he did, the sensation sharpened, became more defined. The terminal was now active and transmitting. He was ready for the next phase. He had bypassed the rational mind and secured a direct entry point. Now he had to see what waited on the other side. Step 3. The interrogation anchored in that icy, amplified signal. You are ready for the core of the protocol. This is where you don't just listen to the unconscious. You force it to show its face. You begin the interrogation. Staring into that inner coldness, you will direct 3 specific questions at the sensation itself. Ask them clearly in your mind, then go completely silent and wait for the answer. The answer will not likely come in words. It will come as an image, a raw feeling, a dislodged memory, or a symbol. Resist the powerful urge to invent an answer. Your ego will try to create a cover story. Your job is to wait in the silence, holding your focus on the feeling. The first question, identify yourself. Alex directed this question at the ice. At first, there was only static. Then, slowly, an image began to bleed through the darkness. The ice seemed to crack open, and from within, a vision emerged. A small, skinny boy of 6 or 7, his eyes wide with fear, clutching a report card. It was him. A younger version of himself, a frozen fragment of his psyche. Alex had made contact with the saboteur. The second question, what is your directive? Alex asked this of the boy. No words came back, but a wave of pure terror and shame washed over Alex, so powerful it almost made him open his eyes. It was the boy's feeling, transmitted directly into Alex's nervous system. The directive wasn't a thought, it was a feeling state. The directive was, avoid this feeling at all costs. The third question, what is your threat assessment? Alex pushed gently. What is the threat? A memory, buried for decades, flashed in his mind with perfect, brutal clarity. His father, large and red-faced with anger, snatching the report card, his voice booming through their small kitchen. You'll never amount to anything. Worthless. And in that instant, Alex felt the icy block slam into his stomach. It was the physical recording of that exact moment. The origin of the program. He had met the ghost in his machine. But confronting it was only half the battle. Now he had to decode the intelligence without letting it be corrupted. Step 4. Decoding the transmission. This is the extraction. The dialogue with the boy continued, but when it felt complete, Alex slowly brought his awareness back to the room, to the floor beneath him, and opened his eyes. The timer had not yet gone off. The temptation was to immediately analyze, or worse, to dismiss what happened as just a weird daydream. This is the most critical mistake. This is the gatekeeper trying to regain control by devaluing the experience. The final phase of the protocol is to honor the intelligence. Before your timer goes off, you grab your notebook and pen. You will now create an intelligence report. You are not journaling your feelings. You are a field agent logging raw data. First, write down the sensory data. Alex wrote, ice block and solar plexus. Image of 6-year-old boy with report card. Feeling of terror and shame. Sound of father's voice, worthless. Second, identify and write down the core belief that was installed in that moment. This is the lie that has been running your life. Alex wrote, core belief, I am worthless. Third, identify the directive that this belief created. This is the unconscious rule you have been following ever since. Alex wrote, Directive: never face judgment or criticism. Avoid any situation where my value can be questioned. Stay small. Stay silent. This is the only way to stay safe. Fourth, and this is crucial, you will list 5 contemporary manifestations. Write down 5 ways this directive is still actively sabotaging your life today. Alex wrote, 1. Paralyzing fear of speaking in meetings. 2. Procrastinating on projects that will be reviewed by superiors. 3. Inability to accept compliments or praise. 4. Choosing partners who are emotionally distant and non-threatening. 5. A constant low-grade feeling of being an imposter. This act of writing does 2 things. First, it cements the experience in the real world, preventing the conscious mind from distorting the memory. Second, it sends a powerful signal to the unconscious. I am listening. Your messages are being received. We are now allies. You are building a bridge of trust to the deepest parts of yourself. By witnessing the experience without judgment, you are dragging the darkness into the light of consciousness. The tears streamed down Alex's face as he wrote. He wasn't just crying for himself. He was crying for that young boy who had been trapped in ice for 30 years, a frozen fragment of himself that hijacked his system whenever he faced judgment. His fear of speaking up wasn't a character flaw. It was the relived terror of a little boy about to be told he was worthless. Looking at the report in his notebook, the truth was undeniable. He looked at the image of the boy in his mind, and for the first time, he didn't try to fix him. He spoke to him as a sovereign adult. You are not worthless, he transmitted. That was a lie. I am in control now. I will protect you. As he said it, he felt a subtle shift. The ice in his stomach didn't vanish, but it felt warmer. The signal was changing. The change wasn't a lightning strike, but a seismic shift deep within. The constant hum of anxiety started to fade. The next week, as he walked into the boardroom for a major presentation, he felt that familiar twinge in his stomach. But this time, he didn't fight it. He recognized the signal for what it was. Ah, he thought, the boy is here. The directive is active. He pictured him and silently transmitted, it's okay. The perimeter is secure. I have the controls now. He stood up to speak, and for the first time, his voice didn't tremble. The words came out clear and confident. He hadn't just conquered a fear. He had reclaimed a compromised part of himself. He took the brutal shortcut and came back with his own sovereignty. But be warned. Integrating this new knowledge is a battle in itself. Once you access your own black file, you cannot go back. You must be prepared for the psychological shifts. First, you will experience an identity void. Your old narratives, I'm just an anxious person and not good at relationships, will crumble. They will feel like the cheap lies they are. This can be disorienting. You have killed your old false self, and you must now build a new one. Second, you must follow this rule. Action precedes belief. Do not wait to feel confident or worthy. You must act as the person who is already whole. Say no when your old self would have said yes. Speak up where you would have been silent. Walk away from situations that trigger the old program. Your nervous system is conditioned to the old loops. You must use decisive action to carve new neural pathways. The feeling will follow the action, not the other way around. Third, understand that you will become a mirror. Your new clarity will be unsettling to those around you who are still living by their unexamined code. Your refusal to engage in their dramas or validate their excuses will feel like a judgment. They may call you cold, different, or arrogant. Understand they are not reacting to you. They are reacting to the reflection of their own cages. Do not explain yourself. Your results will be your only argument. When you fully integrate this knowledge, you become psychologically lethal. Not because you are aggressive, but because you are immune. You recognize manipulation before it lands. You detect power games and emotional hooks without getting pulled in. You understand your own patterns so deeply, they no longer control you. You are no longer playing the identity game. You are operating from source. That is true power. Most people will spend their entire lives decorating the prison of their unconscious mind. You have just been given the key to the door. Instead of running from your shadow, you are about to make it your greatest ally. You now carry a file no one else can read, a file that explains you entirely. If you choose to live by it, you will not just become more powerful, you will become unshakable. Because the person who understands their own code can never be manipulated again. You have made it this far. You are not the average viewer. Most people click away when the truth becomes uncomfortable. But you stayed. You opened the file. You did not look away. That tells me you are ready. So I leave you with your mission. This was not entertainment. This was your initiation. The real work begins now. Signal your commitment to yourself and to the others in this order who are doing the work alongside you. Go to the comments now and transmit the passphrase. It is a declaration that you have received the intelligence and are beginning the work of reclamation. Post this signal. The architect is listening. This isn't just self-discovery. It is a hostile takeover of the self. Join the silent order. Subscribe now and become the force that moves the world, not the piece that is moved by it.